This is Scott from the Mountain Dispatch and Scott Shot Media. Today is Friday, March 12th, and this is what is happening on the mountain. Traffic is actually been pretty heavy today. We've had lots of traffic accidents reported this morning with just a little bit of the dusting of snow that we've gotten. It's created some hazardous road conditions for travelers. Much of the mountain, with the exception of state routes 189 and the backside of Crest Line going down through Lake Silver. Chain patrol has been lifted on those, but from State Route 18, from the 189 all the way up and over on the backside of Smarts Ranch Road, State Route 330 at the upper passing lane, State Route 38 from Angelus Oaks all the way up and over to the Big Bear Dam, and State Route 173 between the Rim and the Village all have R2 conditions still in place. Most of the mountain roads are probably R2 conditions. You have all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive with mud and snow tires in good condition with you. Again, like yesterday, what we probably have seen a lot of with these accidents is they're overestimating their capability or their vehicle up on the mountain, taking their chains off when they get into the Lake Arrowhead or Big Bear or wherever their destination is, and then driving around and finding ice or even trying to leave the mountain without putting those chains back on. So chains are not, these R2 conditions are not just to get up on the mountain. They're for being on the mountain and leaving as well. So remind your friends, remind your neighbors. We had a winter storm warning in effect through tomorrow morning, 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. It's been accelerated a little bit, 10 o'clock tonight. This last storm system, this last round kind of fizzled out a bit. We were supposed to be getting up to another foot of snow. It was anywhere from just the dusting to just an inch or two across most of the mountain overnight last night. So they're still calling about between a trace and 3 inches of snow at the higher elevations through tonight. Be less than that, but pay attention. See, the roads are starting to warm up, which means there might be some water, and then of course tonight it'll freeze over and create some more icy conditions tonight. More challenges as the weekenders come up to visit the snow. With this snow, we're at little to no fire risk for today, and probably on the mountaintop elevations below the snow line, we're seeing a little drying out conditions. There just wasn't enough to the storm to raise the fuel moisture content significantly. So after today, we dropped back down to a low fire risk for the next 4 months. Moderate fire restrictions are still in place in the San Bernardino, or fire restrictions for moderate fire danger still in place in the San Bernardino National Forest. And if you're out in the big between Baldwin Lake and Lake Erwin at Deadman's Ridge, Forest Service is conducting pile burning operations today. Favorable conditions, lots of snow on the ground, nothing to be concerned about. This is incorrect. There was one crime reported on the mountain yesterday, not over in the Big Bear area, and we'll post a graphic on that. And no new COVID cases reported today. 2 cases were in fact removed from our count, allocated to the proper location, which brings us to about 24 active cases on the mountain. Active cases are the cumulative total of new cases over the last. And no new deaths reported in a week. So that's always great news. And our numbers continue to decline. We're expecting to hear today an announcement from the governor on what can and can't open. Drop down into red today. We'll start being able to see movies again at limited capacity with extra precautions, indoor dining, and things like that. So that was what I had for you in a brief overview. If you got a few more minutes to stick around, we'll go into greater detail, starting with our traffic. Lots of chain controls still out there. I didn't post this. There evidently is some 3 just as you leave Crestline. I'm sorry, 138 as you leave Crestline. Some traffic control over here for some utility work. Didn't see that, so it might be some late last minute stuff, power lines or cables or something like that down. So pay attention if you're going on the backside. Chain constrictions have been lifted on the 138 as well as the 189 through Twin Peaks, but you'll still find it for now from the 189 the rim through Big Bear Lake and all the way down to Smarts Ranch Road here as you leave out before the Cushionberry grade in Big Bear. On the 330, you'll have chain control at the upper passing lane. The 38, you'll have it here in Angelus Oaks, up and over Onyx Summit, all the way to the dam. And we should see conditions improve today, especially if this storm, as expected, sort of fizzles out on us. It gives us Caltrans some time to clean up these roads. Roads are warming up, and that gives some time for the conditions to improve. So, of course, if this next round does come through, don't be surprised if the chain control stays in effect or even lowers. Be very careful with all of the people coming up for playing in the snow, especially tonight and again tomorrow morning and Sunday morning. Especially in the usual spots on the 330. About a 50 to 60% chance of some showers today through this evening until about 10 o'clock tonight. About a trace to 3 inches of snow is forecasted if we get any at all. Afterwards, we have a very nice weekend ahead of us with actually a little bit of a warming trend. Sunday is actually supposed to be about 20 degrees warmer in some places up on the mountain. So that'll be really nice weekend to get out and enjoy the mountain before our next round. We have a slight chance, about a 20% chance of some showers and snowfall overnight on Monday. Not a very strong storm, not a lot of punch to it for right now, but we will definitely keep an eye on it for you. For some reason, the National Weather Service has been a day behind. They did this to me yesterday as well. Thought maybe I copied the wrong graph, but again, today they're a day behind. So we have some potential for some major flooding down the hill, maybe some snowfall today. After nice weather, non-hazardous weather ahead of us, with maybe the exception of Monday night, we could expect to see another storm blow through, and with that associated, we might even see some snow flurries or even some rain. Brief, not very strong, at least not the moisture. The gusts could be up to about 34. Fire conditions look great today. Actually dropped down to a low risk in the yellow area, and which is to be expected. The storm wasn't as powerful as we were hoping, so we didn't get enough moisture, especially at lower elevations, that we were expecting. And so, with the wind coming on Monday and drying out conditions in the foreseeable future, Forest Service is the National Forest is going to be under a low fire risk, and that'll fluctuate almost on a daily basis sometimes as we get some moisture and as it dries out. So because of that, the National Forest is still under moderate risk, and those restrictions that go along with that are in place, and which is average for this time of year. So for the next 4 months, we expect to see very few fires, and certainly if they do start, they'll be pretty small and not grow very fast. So that's always good news. Just one crime reported on the mountain yesterday over here in the Moon Ridge area. If you saw some police activity on Sunset Drive yesterday, that's what was going on. And lastly, some good news on the COVID front. Again, expect to hear from the governor today with the county and most of Southern California dropping down into the red or substantial risk tier, which allows for opening limited capacity of things like movie theaters and indoor gyms and stuff like that. So it's really good news. We have a net of -2 cases reported. So 2 cases were taken away from Big Bear City today and reallocated to their proper locations off of the mountain. And again, so this is just full-time residents. And so somebody could say, oh yeah, I live in Big Bear City, but if it's just their weekend home or they're just visiting, that will get allocated residents that. So that's probably what happened here. A lot of the mountains still under minimum risk. This is the state's 4-tier risk system. It's a 7-day average, trailing 7 days. So even though you see like a 0 here in Big Bear Lake, and even this negative over Big Bear City, Big Bear Lake won't change unless the number remains pretty low or reduced for 14 consecutive days. So that's why. So Tuesday we'll see where Big Bear Lake ends up. Hopefully we'll see some improvement here in Blue Jay and in Crestline and in Running Springs. Overall, the mountain, we are under a moderate risk or system, so you can see that's pretty good. Bear Valley, you are under moderate risk. Rim, you're almost there. Substantial risk, just a couple of percentage points to go. A little over 5.5% of all COVID-19. We have a daily, these are our daily numbers here, daily risk of a -4. So we had a -2, you divide that by the 50,000 residents, and we get a -4, which is really good. Hopefully, at least below, we'd like to see it below 4 for the next 3 weeks in order to drop down to the next level. The county currently is at 3.1, so I think we are almost at 14 consecutive days of being below 7.0, which is one of the criteria that we need in order to drop down into the lower tier. And then, of course, California as a whole, not doing quite as well, but still improving at a 9.0, and the rest of the country, little work still to do at 18.8. Today, we're probably not going to do live reports over the weekend unless there's some late breaking news. We will, of course, post updates, especially on what is happening on the mountain on Facebook or any breaking news on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope. So make sure you're following along at Scott Shot Media. Please like our pages, follow our pages so that you can be notified when we do news reports. And our new website, the Mountain Dispatch or mountain-dispatch.com, is a great place. You can sign up to receive a daily email. Not only will you get the articles that we are writing pertaining to mountain public health and safety issues. Again, Scott from Scott Shot Media. You guys have a very nice weekend, and we